Can I have a piece of toast?
When it gets very gory, I just don't look.
I thought you'd be glad to see me.
Oh, God, no.
You're hurting my feelings.
God forbid one should have to be sitting next to Griffin Dunne in the morning, first thing before you've had your breakfast, when he's having that ghastly makeup being put on.
Griffin was quite freaked out the first day that Rick Baker put the makeup on him.
You could see as I'm putting these pieces on him with several different pieces, I'm kind of sinking more and more in the chair and just getting more and more depressed. And it's like, what's the matter, Griffin? Nothing. I go, no, really, something's wrong. What's the matter? And finally said, look at it.
They were putting it on, and first it was all white, and then had this little vein thing in it, and then they started to apply makeup, and I saw it was going to look like it was going to be gruesome. It was going to be really, really gruesome. Quite an unsettling experience, to tell you the truth. I became profoundly depressed because you got a very strong sense of what you would look like if you were dead. My mother was ill at the time, and I remember thinking, my mother can't see this. This will freak her out.
He looked pretty disgusting in real life, so people were like avoiding him. Ooh.
I still remember the first time I saw it, I was like, oh my God.
I look like my throat's been torn out, It's like, this is my big movie break, and nobody's going to want to look at me, And I said, did you read the script? Yeah. And he goes, doesn't it say your throat's torn out and half your face is torn off? Yeah, but somehow I didn't think it was going to look like this, It's like he wasn't a happy camper at that moment, And I remember sending Polaroids off to John and saying, I think you need to talk to Griffin because he's not real pleased at the moment.
He was pretty shook, and it really took me and John a while to calm him down and convince him that we knew what we were doing. But, he finally got used to it. He was a real trooper about it once he got over his initial reaction.
I realize I don't look so hot, David.
The initial test that I did on Griffin, I had blood all over him and dirt and stuff. And that's where one thing where John did have something to say about, and he wanted him to be perfectly clean when he shows up in the hospital the first time, other than the wounds. He wanted it to be, wanted him to make sure that it was Griffin there, So.
Yeah, we just hoped it could be captured on film because it looked so great. And it was, glistening, and they were in there painting it, so it looked fresh.
It was so realistic with the flesh and the little pieces of flesh hanging.
Everybody talks about the little, dangly part.
I thought that was really horrible.
It wasn't that we intentionally planned it to do that. It was just this little piece that I put on there. And because it was wet and had weight of the water on it, when he would talk, that little thing would move. And it turned out to be one of those fun things that happens, So that was stage one. Stage two was a makeup and many more appliances to try to make him look a little more gaunt and a little more rotten. And it was, kind of greenish colored.
What are you doing here? I wanted to see you. Hi, David. Put that down.
It was pretty thick as far as appliances go, but I really wanted the neck to have some depth. I wanted to really see the thyroid cartilage and stuff in there, and he was basically all covered with appliances at that point.
You've got to take your own life.
I remember that I had to get up at 4 in the morning as opposed to 5. I could appreciate it, and I could appreciate how exciting it was for everyone else putting it on. But to be the guy sitting in the chair from 4 in the morning for 6-7 hours, the thrill of that wore off pretty quick. I would just sit there and patiently try not to go out of my mind.
I'm not having a nice time here.
I was a fidgety guy who just wanted to pull it off the minute it was on. It's glue. They glued it to your face. In the heat, it would constrict. It was like being eaten alive by ants.
Tomorrow night's the full moon. You're gonna change. You'll become...
I know. A monster.